In the headlines, resident doctors issued 2-week ultimatum to federal government over welfare demands. 6 herders killed, 7 others missing in Plateau communities. NDLEA intercepts 1.33 billion naira drugs at Lagos Seaport, arrests suspects. And on the foreign scene, United Kingdom enacts ownership register for property held by foreigners. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Dashan Hussaina Usman. And now the news in detail. The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors has given a 2-week ultimatum to the federal government to implement the new national minimum wage and hazard allowance or face indefinite industrial action. The ultimatum was issued in a communique jointly signed by NARD's President Dr. Dare Ishaya, Secretary General Suleiman Abiodun, and Publicity and Social Secretary Alpha Yusuf at the end of the July National Executive Council meeting and scientific conference of the association. NARD called on the federal government, to the Nigerian Governors Forum, stakeholders, and well-meaning Nigerians to prevail on the governors of Imo, Ondo, Ekiti, and Gombe states to urgently pay arrears of salaries and allowances owed its members in tertiary health institutions, lamenting that the matter was becoming embarrassing. It urged the federal government to expedite action on the payment of the newly renewed medical residency training fund within the 2-week ultimatum to enable its members meet the closing date of examination registration as advertised by the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria. The federal government has on Sunday demanded for justice over the gruesome murder of a Nigerian street vendor, Alika Ogochukwu, in a beach town in Italy. Daily Trust reports that a video footage widely circulated on Italian news websites and social media showed how an aggressive man beat and strangled Ogochukwu, a physically challenged, to death. Spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Francisca Omayuli, in a statement, directed the Nigerian embassy in Rome, Italy, to work together with the relevant Italian authorities to ensure that justice is served. Civitanova Marches mayor met with members of the Nigerian community after hundreds demonstrated on Saturday. 6 herders have been reportedly killed and 7 others missing in Mongi and Langai communities in Mangu local government area of Plateau State. State Chairman of Miette Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, Noura Abdullahi, who confirmed the development, alleged that a Bauchi-based local security group had on July 22 invaded the communities and arrested some Fulani, took them to a bush and killed them. The MACBAN chairman said 13 of his members were arrested and 6 corpses found in the bush, while the remaining ones were nowhere to be found. The spokesperson for Bauchi State Police Command, Ahmed Wakili, said the command is aware of the incident, but it did not happen under its jurisdiction. Few days after ordering the closure of schools, Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Saleh has raised an alarm over suspicious movement by suspected bandits fleeing from Niger, Zamfara, Kebbi, and Kaduna states to the state. The governor said the large movement of the fleeing bandits identified in Ruganjuli and Rugamadaki in Karu, Wamba, and Toto local government area necessitated the expanded security meeting held in Government House, Lafia. Governor Sule explained that the expanded emergency security meeting was to take proactive measures considering the security situation across the country, particularly within the Federal Capital Territory, where over 800 inmates escaped from the Kuje Correctional Facility recently.
But as you all know, we had the unfortunate Kuje prisons outbreak, where it was estimated that about 800 inmates escaped recently. And we have also had the opportunity to arrest some within the state as a result of our proximity to the federal capital. But in addition to that, we have continued to see some movements of some of these bandits who are usually kicked out of Zamfara, Katsina, Niger, Kebbi, and Kaduna State. We have particularly noticed some large presence of some of these at Rugan Juli and Rugan Madaki and Karu local government especially. We have also seen some movements that we are going to discuss in more details, around Wamba and around Tutu local government areas. As a result, we have seen a few number of increase in the kidnapping between the last 2 months. And all this combined with our effort made it extremely necessary for us to have this meeting so that we can renew some of our strategies to tackle this.
The Katsina State Police Command has said that the ban on motorcycle movements from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. within the city is still in place and will be reinforced by its operatives. This is contained in a statement by the command spokesman Gambo Isa on Monday in Katsina. Isa said the restriction in other local government areas, especially the frontline areas, remained from 6 a.m. to 6 a.m., adding that the enforcement was necessary due to the recent threat to security caused by terrorists and other criminals using motorcycles. The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons in Katsina State is seeking the cooperation of all stakeholders to fight the transborder menace. The Katsina State NAPTIP coordinator, Aliyu Musa, made the call at a press briefing marking the International Day Against Trafficking in Persons. Trust TV's Abdullahi Amadi completes the report.
Stakeholders agree that the war against human trafficking is a collective responsibility, hence the need for all and sundry to join hands to combat the menace. The NAPTIP boss in Katsina is worried about the alarming rate at which children are trafficked.
I wish to call all our stakeholders here to join the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, to fight and stop this menace called human trafficking in Katsina and Nigeria at large. We call it as a new slave trade, because the people that are the traffickers are the ones that is benefiting from what they are trafficking with.
Job seekers are being advised to be cautious so that they do not fall into traps set by elements who promise them lucrative jobs in Europe and other Arab countries. The victims end up working as slaves and sex workers if they are lucky to arrive their destinations alive.
I reach out to potential clients, communicate among perpetrators, and hide criminal proceeds, and all that with greater speed, cost effectiveness, and anonymity.
The briefing dwelt extensively on the significant role the media plays in ensuring the successful fight against human trafficking. It also reveals that the greater percentage of human trafficking is done through Katsina corridors, which is why this synergy is needed to curb the menace.
We've been working together on issues of trafficking in persons, and it has been a good work together, and we are I'm glad to be here, knowing the number of the press that are here to help us sensitize the public.
Stakeholders are linking growing insecurity and the menace of drug abuse to human trafficking, but they believe better collaboration could curb human trafficking, leading to the reduction of these social vices. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Nasarawa State Command of the Nigerian Police has arrested 6 females over alleged cybercrime in the state. This was contained in a statement by the Public Relations Officer of the command, Ramhan Nansel, and made available to newsmen in Lafia. The command said preliminary investigation revealed that the suspect criminally conspired amongst themselves and utilized a popular gay dating app where they arranged dates with unsuspecting members of the public from different parts of the country, lure them to the hideout, hold them hostage and dispossess them of their belongings while threatening them with dangerous weapons. The command further said their victims are assaulted and forced to reveal their ATM pins, their bank accounts is then wiped out before they are let go. People in Bauchi communities are desilting their drainages to forestall flooding that could arise from the torrential rainfall in recent days. Impressed by these proactive actions, the Bauchi State Environmental Protection Agency has pledged to join hands with various communities to carry out sanitation exercises. Trust TV's Adamu Imam completes the report.
As heavy downpour continue in different parts of Nigeria, Bauchi State has its own share of torrential rainfalls that make people uncomfortable, especially the motorists. Some Bauchi residents told Trust TV how they cope with the heavy downpour witnessed on Friday within the metropolis. I passed through C&C market site within the town. The water completely covered the major streets and culverts. A lot of people find it very difficult to get access. I lost a lot because of heavy downpour and the flooding. Even one age girl died as a result of this flooding last Thursday. I'm totally confused now with my work. Meanwhile, people of Yakubu Anka community agreed to halt other activities to desilt their drainages to run away possible flooding within the locality. Similarly, the State Environmental Protection Agency continued to enlighten and mobilize publics on the need for constant cleaning of their environment, especially during the monthly sanitation exercise. The agency also barricaded major entrance into the state to engage more people for the exercise.
The residents were busy cleaning their environment despite that it is raining. And the entrance into the main city has been barricaded fully, and we don't have so much movement unlike before. So actually I can rate it around 90% success, the compliance.
It could be recalled that the two local government areas of Darazo and Kirifi were the worst hit by the recent flooding in the state. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break, retirement plan for senior citizens. Do stick around.
Every patriotic Nigerian should hear this. Any politician who means well for the people will never allow themselves or their supporters to engage in any violent, destructive activities. No politician who truly wants to serve the people and develop the nation will encourage his followers to destroy properties or take human lives before, during, or after the elections. The Nigerian public must watch out for these traits and isolate any politician who encourages supporters to engage in violence. No genuine politician or patriot will cause trouble and seek to destroy the very society which they aspire to lead or develop. Politicians who have the good of the people at heart will not allow themselves or their followers to engage in violence, destruction of properties, and then taking of lives. Be vigilant. By their words you shall know them. Shun violence. Stay away from politicians who want you to do so. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NOAA.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Let's take a look at some of our top stories. You heard that resident doctors have issued a 2-week ultimatum to federal government over welfare demands. We also told you that 6 herders were killed, 7 others missing in Plateau communities. Moving on to more stories, a 3-year-old child died while his 2-year-old sibling is critically injured following an early morning downpour that wreaked havoc in Bajoga town of Funakaye local government area, Gombe State. Daily Trust reports that rain that lasted for over 5 hours at the weekend resulted in heavy flooding that led to the collapse of one of the walls of the room where the 2 children were sleeping in Ungwarfada near the Emir's palace. Several others that sustained various degrees of injuries are receiving treatment at the General Hospital Bajoga and other medical facilities. Over 100 houses, many livestock and property worth millions of naira were also destroyed, mostly in Shara Mansur and Bodoriel areas of the town. At the time of filing this report, Head of Rescue of the State Emergency Management Agency, Muhammad Garba, said they are still in Bajoga assessing the situation to ascertain the casualty figures and the actual number of houses, livestock and property destroyed by the flood. The federal government has restated its commitment to develop and sustain partnership that will promote dignified aging and other issues related to older persons in the country. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Omar Farouk, stated this at an event to mark the first anniversary of the National Senior Citizens in Abuja. The report.
The minister, who lamented the long neglect of older people in the country due to negative stereotypes, said it was time for urgent steps to be taken to address such anomalies and give senior citizens their pride of place in the country.
One of the objectives of the National Policy on Aging in Nigeria is to cause a fundamental positive change in perception, attitude, and paradigm about aging, old age, and an inclusive society. We look forward to achieving this before the second anniversary of the establishment of the center. This we are all committed to achieving, also that we will all one day be in that category of senior citizens. It is extremely important that we all put hands together to support this initiative.
Earlier, the Director General, National Senior Citizen Center, Dr. M.M. Umukaru, who commended President Muhammadu Buhari and the Humanitarian Affairs Minister for the legal backing given to the center, assured that the NSCC is poised to deliver on its mandate to ensure that senior citizens enjoy the benefits of aging. The commemorative event, which had the theme Cascading Innovative Strategy, Programs, Partnerships, and Stakeholders Engagement, featured the formal inauguration of the NSCC Consultative Committee by the Minister, Sadia Omar Farouk.
I would like to, on behalf of His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, who has made it possible for this center to be in place, I formally inaugurate the Stakeholders Consultative Forum on Aging. We are hereby inaugurated.
Meanwhile, the minister had earlier commissioned the new office of the National Senior Citizen Center, NSCC, located at number 7, Maudo Street in Wuse.
No fewer than 2,750,000 tablets of tramadol weighing 225 milligram worth 1,375,000,000 naira have been intercepted at the Apapa port in Lagos by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. The consignment, packed in 55 cartons of tapentadol and carisoprodol types of tramadol, was seized during examination of a container in Lagos. Now we have more on the activities of the NDLEA in the last 1 week.
A statement from the Director, Media and Advocacy of the agency, Femi Babafemi, says the seizure comes on the heel of similar efforts by anti-narcotic officers at the Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Ikeja, that thwarted bids by drug traffickers to export various psychoactive substances to London, UK, and Dubai through the Lagos airport in the past week. At least 5 suspects have so far been arrested in connection to the attempts. On Monday, 25th July, a Dubai UAE-bound passenger, Ms. Ebodegai Gloria, was intercepted during the outward clearance of travelers on Rwanda Air via Kigali to Dubai. Discovered in her luggage were sachets of tramadol 225 mg concealed inside Gary. The following day, Tuesday 26th July, a total of 50 blocks of cannabis sativa with a total weight of 27.1 kg concealed inside a large quantity of crayfish going to London as part of consolidated cargo were seized at the Sako export shed. Same day, a Dubai-bound female passenger, Emebradu Precious Rachel, was arrested with 1.8 kg cannabis sativa packed inside bitter leaf in luggage while attempting to board Rwandan air flight to UAE via Kigali. In his reaction to the arrest and seizures, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of NDLEA, Brigadier General Muhammad Buba Marwa, retired, commended the officers and men of Apapa Seaport, Adamawa, Kebbi, Kwara, Kano, and FCT commands for their vigilance and commitment. He urged them and their colleagues across the country not to rest on their oars, but remain resolute in the pursuit of agency's goal of ridding Nigeria of illicit substances.
In its attempt to end poverty in all its forms in the country, the federal government has maintained steady investment in health, education, and other social services. To this end, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals, Adejoke Orelokpe Adefulire, says 23 states and the Federal Capital Territory have received 24.45 billion naira from the conditional grant schemes since 2015. Kehinde Amodu takes a look at the implementation of the SDGs in Nigeria in the midst of a crippling downturn of the economy. The report.
Nigeria was one of 193 countries that adopted the Social Development Goals, or Project 2030, in response to a global call to put an end to poverty, secure the planet, and ensure that everyone enjoys peace and prosperity by 2030. Unfortunately, with the way insecurity has spiraled, while cost of living has risen, things do not look so bright for the country. But the SDG office is not deterred by the numbers and has disbursed funds worth billions of naira to 23 participating states and the FCT since 2017. The grants were targeted at education, health, water, and sanitation projects.
Institutional framework has been established at the national and sub-national level to support the effective implementation of the SDGs. Thus, Nigeria is leading in the institutionalization of the SDGs. The SDG cannot be achieved by standalone programs and projects. They must be carefully integrated into national and sub-national policies and development plans. Currently, we have integrated the SDG into Nigeria National Development Plan 2021 to 2024, and work is ongoing on 2025 to 2030.
Nigeria was ranked 160 on the 2020 World's SDG Index after its second voluntary national review in 2020. On SDG 3, which focuses on health targets, the country faces challenges such as high rates of maternal mortality.
The Safe Birth Initiative was designed to support 15 strategic selected tertiary institutions across the 6 geopolitical zone with the state-of-the-art equipment and technical capacity support to improve neonatal and maternal health in Nigeria, and is helping us to achieve SDG 3 on quality health and well-being for all.
There are some successes. For instance, Nigeria's current access to basic drinking water now stands at 64%. The implementation of the SDGs, a set of 17 interconnected global goals, kicked off in January 2017. But the downturn of the economy means achieving the targets may not be an easy task in Nigeria. Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Away from Nigeria, the United Kingdom says foreign companies holding property in the country will now be required to identify their true owners in an official register. The Business Ministry, in a statement, said the Register of Overseas Entities, which takes effect on Monday, is part of a wider economic crime law enacted this year in an effort to stop the flow of illicit Russian cash into London in the wake of Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. The move seeks to ensure that criminals cannot hide behind secretive chains of shell companies and support government efforts to root out Russian oligarchs using property in the UK to hide dirty money. The register will apply to property bought since January 1999 in England and Wales and since December 2014 in Scotland. And finally, in sports, England manager Sarina Wiegman has said the world will change for her players after the Lioness won Euro 2020 with a 2-1 extra-time victory over Germany at sold-out Wembley on Sunday. In front of a record crowd of 87,192 for any match in the history of the European Championships, Chloe Kelly prodded home the winner in the 110th minute to deliver England women's first ever major tournament win. Kelly only just made Wiegman's squad after fighting back from an anterior cruciate ligament tear to be fit in time for the tournament and made herself a national hero by being in the right place to pounce when Germany failed to clear a corner. The Manchester City winger tore off her shirt in celebration in scenes reminiscent of Brandy Chastain's famous reaction to scoring the winning penalty at the 1999 World Cup for the USA. With this, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.